Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today we are going to be getting into my April wrap up, where I will be telling you all about the 14 books that I read throughout the month of April. I had so many good ones and a couple flops, so I'm ready to praise them, to drag them, to do all the things that it is appropriate to do with my April reads. If you've watched one of my wrap-ups before, then you know we always start with the stats. So as I mentioned, I read 14 books total in the month of April for a total of 4,260 pages. And here's my mood breakdown. Pretty standard. We have a lot of dark reads, a lot of tense reads, a lot of mysterious reads, as we usually do. There was an even split for pacing this month. Exactly half of the books that I read were fast-paced and the other half were medium-paced. I read 3 books that were under 300 pages and all the rest of the books were between 300 and 500 pages. I read 1 nonfiction book in the month of April. Here is my genre breakdown. At the top, we have mystery, thriller, and horror with a few romance and contemporary, and then everything else below that. Across my 14 reviews, I had an average rating of a 3.92, which is really not bad at all. See, I'm telling you guys, I'm having a great reading month and a great reading year in general. If you missed my Q1 update, you should really go watch it. The stats in that video are crazy and I also made them really cutesy. And I also let you know about my best books of the year so far, a couple of which I'm going to be talking about in this video as well. Also, I did want to mention, like, I'm not an idiot. I know what Q1 is. It's the first 3 months of the year. I filmed that video only using March stats. I didn't want to leave out April books. Like, I read a couple things in the first week of April that shot to the top of my best books of the year. So I did end up including them in that Q1 video. It was literally by a week, okay? But I did not include my April stats in my Q1 stats because April is not in Q1. But I knew that if I didn't include books that I had already posted vlogs of in the first week of April, praising and saying they're my best book of the year, y'all would be really confused. Here is the breakdown of how I read those pages throughout the month of April. I was pretty much reading steadily throughout the month until I went on vacation to visit Aspen from Aspen's archive. We had such a great time. We literally didn't film at all because we just like hanging out with each other, okay? It's not a PR trip. It's not a collaboration trip. Like, we don't go to make content. We just like each other. So I didn't really do any reading when I was hanging out with her, but I did read one thing on the plane ride home. So I had one last book thrown in there. All right, now that we've gone through all my stats, let's get into my reviews. I will start out with the one book that I did not rate. I don't like to rate memoirs or books about people's real life experience because I don't want to put a rating on someone's direct life experiences. Like, there's no plot, there's nothing to rate, you know what I mean? That just feels kind of weird, but I did really enjoy this one. I read RuPaul's memoir, which is The House of Hidden Meanings, and I absolutely loved it. If you are a Drag Race fan or a queer person, or you are just like wanting to know some lore about RuPaul and then get some life advice from Mother Ru herself, and also learn about like early days of drag and the ballroom scene, this is a really interesting book. It was really easy to listen to. Ru speaks on it herself. She does the narration, and I just think RuPaul is a treasure. Like, his laugh, do you know what I mean? Like, his laugh, like that one scene, I'll put it in here if I can find it. Eggs!
Cully Culkin, what did you have for breakfast?
Eggs! It literally kills me every single time. So if you're looking for a memoir to read, I highly recommend that one. And then getting into the books that I did rate in the month of April, we will start out with my least favorite book of the month and work our way up to my very favorite. So let's get into my 2 stars. The first one, tragically, is Emily Henry's new release for 2025. This is The Great BBL, as me and Aspen like to refer to it as, which I just think that's really funny. It's the Great Big Beautiful Life book, whatever. This was so bad, okay? 2 stars does feel generous for this one because this romance had absolutely no chemistry at all whatsoever. The first kiss, the romantic professions, every single piece that moved the romance plot along felt like it was coming out of the blue, out of left field. Like, these characters had no chemistry at all. The tension was non-existent, baby. It was not in the room. Basically, the plot of this book is 2 writers are invited to this secluded estate for this iconic actress, heiress woman, a la Evelyn Hugo, and both of them get different little pieces of her story. They're writing her story and they're presenting it to her, competing against each other to be chosen to be the one to write her memoir. And as they are competing with each other and getting these dueling pieces of information, they start to put together the mystery of who this woman is, and also along the way they are forming a friendship, and more than that, they are falling in love. But like I mentioned earlier, there was no chemistry between our main characters. Like, I felt nothing. It felt like they were begrudging friends, and honestly it felt like the girl liked the guy so much more than it felt like he liked her, which kind of gave me the ick. I don't like that at all. Like, you're telling me you're not gonna worship this woman's feet? I literally don't want to read that romance. I'm so sorry. I'm not into that. And the whole plot line with the famous woman and her memoir being written, I wish I cared. I just didn't. She wasn't a compelling character. I had no reason to care about her. And it felt like Emily Henry was trying to capitalize on this like Evelyn Hugo-esque trend, like The Favorites by Elaine Fargo, like The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. And I like all of those books so much more than I liked this one. I just think our main mogul character was not developed enough for me to care. So I give it 2 stars. And that is the lowest rating I've ever given to an Emily Henry book. So kind of crushing. My other 2-star read for the month of April was a thriller, and it was in my new release thriller vlog that I posted in April. If you missed it, I will link it up above and down below. I had so much fun filming this one, and I had so many things to do the week that I filmed this. So if you're interested in like day in the life type of content, you can see a lot of my life in this vlog. And I had a really fun week that week, but something that wasn't that fun was reading this book, What the Wife Knew by Darby Kane. This book was just devoid of any description whatsoever. Like, there was no character development, no scenery description, no atmosphere. Everything was just plot. It was like I was reading a storyboard of plot points almost, and I had no imagery, no sense of place and time, no sense of who my characters were. So as compelling as the plot was, I just felt bored and I didn't care. I wasn't invested, and the plot wasn't that engaging either. I thought the twist at the end was kind of lazy and predictable. This is about a woman whose husband dies, and she's like, wait, that was supposed to be my job, but she did not do it. There were also 2 previous attempts made on this man's life that were not her doing. So we are trying to figure out who are all the people that are trying to kill this man, and what is the wife's motive for wanting to kill this man, and who actually killed him. I don't really think it's worth the read, but if that sounds interesting to you and you're a super plot-driven reader, maybe. Next up, let's get into my 3.5 out of 5-star reads. I have 2 of those. One is a thriller from Serafina Nova Glass, and this is The Vanishing Hour. There is this one part of this little coastal town, and all these women go missing from there, but they're usually not women that people pay attention to, so the police don't really care. They don't really look into it as much as they should, until a young teen with her whole life ahead of her, who's not the typical like sex worker, goes missing. Then people start paying attention to The Vanishing Hour, and then people who don't fit the typical description of the main target, these young women, keep going missing, like 2 old men. So we are trying to figure out what happened to all these women, who is taking them, where are these 2 missing old men, and what connects them. We're following multiple POVs in this book. It's really easy to read. I love the way that Serafina Nova Glass writes her characters and her settings. They're very atmospheric, dark, gritty feeling thrillers. I just love the feel of them. I wanted to give this book 4 stars, but I just thought the ending was a little bit predictable. I didn't have too many issues with it overall. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable standard thriller. I just don't know how memorable it was and how unique it was. So I gave it a 3.5. My other 3.5 rated read for the month of April is a dark romance, and this one is for my girls who like a masked man, okay? You know me and like the fucking Scream mask and the Michael Myers and the all of that. Like, you guys know that I'm just into that, okay? And my fellow freaks, go crazy in the comments. I want to see you rise up so I don't feel alone and vulnerable sharing this information. So I read Lights Out by Nevessa Allen, and this is about a guy who makes masked man TikToks. Like, he's literally a masked man influencer who makes thirst traps with like basically a Scream mask on. And this girl is a huge fan of him, okay? She is me, I am her. And she's just like in his comments, whatever. And then one day they have an interaction and he looks at her profile and he kind of gets obsessed with her. So now they're mutually obsessed with each other. And then they meet in person. And then they start taking this whole like role play, like masked killer thing a little bit serious. And they get into some real life masked murdering together. And honestly, this book was so much fun. It's spicy, it's hot. I really like the thriller plot. It's exciting, and the romance was really cute. This is another one that I wanted to give 4 stars because it was a pretty solid read, but there were just a couple annoying things that nagged at me. One of them was these characters read very like painfully millennial, and it was just a little bit cringe to me. And the other thing that annoyed me was the male main character is like so hot for the first 75% of the book, and then the last 25% he gets like so goofy. And I was loving that they were in love and they were like having this cute little puppy love, and it was such a fun juxtaposition to behind closed doors in the bedroom. However, the way that this man was beating was just like giving me a little bit of the ick. A little bit of the ick. I don't know about y'all. I don't love a like golden retriever type of man. Like, you're a man, okay? You're supposed to clock in at work and make money and take care of me. I don't want you to be a dog running around with your tongue out. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just like a little bit more of a stoic, serious man, but it came me out a bit. If you can see past the millennial cringe and the golden retriever energy, I think you will really like this one though. Next up, we are into my 4-star reads. So everything from here on out has the Hailey stamp of approval. No caveats at all. I recommend everything from this point on. First up, we have Such Quiet Girls by Noelle W. Ely. This is about a school bus full of students who gets taken hostage. Okay, all these little children are just sitting on the bus and these dudes are like, and we're gonna hold you hostage. That is crazy. And the even crazier thing is that this actually happened. This book is based on a real case. And there's no mystery really at the heart of the story because we get the perspectives of the hostage guys who are basically traumatizing these children. There's no core mystery. It's just an edge of your seat thrill ride, rooting for the survival of these kids and hoping that they make it out alive. Every time the investigators make a move or one of the parents gets close to figuring out where the kids are, you're just like on the edge of your seat, like, please go find them. It's such an action-packed ride, as Noelle's thrillers always are. I absolutely love the way that she writes. It's so fast-paced, so heart-pumping, so emotional. This was just great. It was such a solid thriller. If you liked Run on Red from her, you're gonna love Such Quiet Girls. Next up, we have another solid thriller rec, and that is Eat, Slay, Love by Julie May Cohen. And I'm so happy this one worked out for me because I didn't love her last book, Bad Men. It just didn't hit. This one hit that perfect sweet spot of like funny, over-the-top, comedic, and also dark and like a little bit of true feminist commentary in there. It's 3 murderous women who are being duped by the same man, so they all team up to take him and any other man who's gonna back him up out. It is very, like I said, kitschy, over the top, fun, girly, cutesy, female empowerment with a side of blood and guts and a little bit of trauma dumping. It was just everything that I needed it to be. Not that serious, not like a forever favorite that I'm gonna be thinking about, but it was so much fun when I was reading it. Next up, we have Every Last Lie by Mary Kubica. I am steadily making my way through Mary Kubica's backlist so I can make you guys a rating and ranking video, going through all of her books and letting you know which ones are worth it. And I actually really liked this one. Although I would not call it a thriller, okay? It wasn't a real big like mystery that we were trying to find out. It wasn't like super edge of your seat thrilling, but this was a very compelling family drama, and it kind of reminded me of some of my favorite Lisa Jewell books. We are basically following this woman in the aftermath of a horrible event. Her husband gets into a car accident with her little baby girl in the car, and the girl survives, but she is traumatized and the husband dies. So she is just trying to put the pieces back together and figure out like what led to this accident. Is it bigger than just an accident? Was it kind of set up in some way? Were there people out to get her husband? Was he struggling with his mental health? You examine their relationship in great detail, both of their individual mental health and the relationship to their child. It's just like psychological suspense at its best. It was really easy to listen to on audio. I found myself wanting to listen to it all the time and doing more things around my house so I could listen to it. It was just compelling and interesting and emotional, and it has low ratings, I think, because people go in expecting a really fast-paced thriller with crazy twists. That's kind of what Mary Kubica does, but this is quite a departure from that. No big twist, but I still think it's worth a read, especially if you like that psychological kind of horror. And the last 4-star book that I have to tell you about in this video is Perfect Days by Rafael Montez, and this was actually my Pretty Girl book club pick for the month, so I'm very happy that my book club pick was a highly rated book for me. And y'all, this book was crazy. This book was crazy boots, okay? I can't even begin to tell you how psycho cuckoo bananas this book is. If you want something just wild, you have to read this, okay? I don't put it off for a day. It's gonna piss you off, okay? Because I didn't like how things ended up in this book, but I had to at least give it a 4 because of the intensity of the emotion I was feeling as I was reading it. And this was one of my favorite book club discussions we have ever had. I'm gonna link my book club discussion down below. If you want to join my Patreon and view it, feel free. We talked about this book for over an hour, and it's less than 250 pages. Like, huh? And there was not like commentary and themes to pick apart in here. We were all just gooped and gagged by the events that happen in this book. Basically, we are following this antisocial personality disorder core type of man who has no emotion, but he still wants a relationship because of course he does, because of course. And instead of being like a normal man, or at least a semi-decent man that like considers a woman's emotion and is like, oh baby please, like he doesn't even just chase after her like a sad little puppy in the streets. No, he just is like, you're my soulmate, so I'm gonna kidnap you. And we follow him and his delusional ass as he takes his kidnapped girlfriend on this vacation to all these tropical destinations, and in his head, like they are building a life together, and her head, she is trying to escape. And the way that I kept describing this book in my Patreon reading vlog was like the most evenly matched arm wrestling match of all time. Like you thought one person was gonna win and then you thought the other person was gonna win. And that kind of tension where they're flipping who has the upper hand goes throughout the entire book until the very last page. Some fucked up things happen in this book. It is crazy. The level of the twists literally blew my mind. The way that the author could even think of some of these twists. I'm like, what kind of fucked up things happen in your brain, Raphael? And like I said, the ending will piss you off. It is not a satisfying ending. That's why it's not a favorite of all time for me, and I could not give it 5 stars, but I will remember this book forever. trust and believe. Next up, let's get into my 4.5 star books. These ones just missed the mark for being an all-time fave. First, we have Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen. And first of all, hello. This book is beautiful. I love the blood sprayed edges. This is a gothic horror tale that kind of gave me what I wanted out of What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. So there's this girly pop, okay? And she is living in her beautiful Victorian estate, okay? It's very gothic vibes, very atmospheric. And she's there with her husband, and she's like kind of bored of her husband, okay? And she's queer. So she's like, I am gonna have my little queer affair here and just live my life like I'm a bored rich woman and I can just hook up with my girly on the side. Like, it'll be fine, it'll be chill. And then a body washes up from the bog and her little weird self is like, I am obsessed with the bog woman. Actually, this like bog body, yeah, that's my hyperfixation of the moment. And I feel very connected to this woman. Ever since she got obsessed with the bog body, she starts going a little nuts, okay? She goes like Nosferatu mode. You know when Lily Rose Depp was like ripping her dress open? Okay, that is what this girl is doing. And so her sister gets called in, her twin sister, and they're like, Twinnie, can you get her under control? Can you like heal her? Can we like do something about this, or else we're gonna have to send her to the nut house? And we are following her twin sister's perspective as she tries to save her sister from this fate of being shipped to the nut house. We want her to heal. We want her to live in all of her queer glory instead of being trapped in the house with this husband that she doesn't even like. It is about sisterhood bonds. It is about being an ally and being queer and rejecting the patriarchy. There's so many like underlying themes in here that I loved so much. Also, just the straight up atmosphere of it, the character development, the visuals. It was crazy gore at the end and I loved it. I really loved everything about this book. I just didn't get the same 5-star feeling that I got when I read Joanna Van Veen's debut, which was My Darling Dreadful Thing. I think because we're following like someone on the outside of this main queer relationship rather than one of the girls within the sapphic vibe, that I felt like I was a little disconnected from their love. And maybe that was the thing that didn't give me the 5-star feeling. I didn't get all the like sapphic love feelings that made me go gaga over My Darling Dreadful Thing. But either way, I love this book, and Joanna Van Veen is pretty much a auto-buy author that I'm sure to love in the future. My other 4.5-star book that I read in April was Sugar by Mia Ballard. If you missed it, I did a Mia Ballard taste test, and this vlog was absolutely batshit insane. There was one point in this video that I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep filming. Like, I couldn't even physically hold the book I was talking about and be on camera because I was like, get away from me. Like, I can't be near you. Like, the book was scary, the physical book. So if you want to see that, check out the vlog. But this is one of the things that I read for that video. It's a thriller, and we are following this girly pop housewife, perfect Barbie, in the 70s in Malibu. Okay, it's like California. Everything is bright and pretty, and she's literally like this Malibu Barbie. And within the first chapter, she murders her husband, and then she immediately bakes a cake after. So she is just a girl after my heart. And this is not the first man she's killed. This is an extremely character-driven story, and we basically just chronicle through the life of our main character, going through everyone she's ever murdered and all of her psychological issues that have led to those murders. And we're rooting for her to not get caught for her husband's murder. She's like trying to charm and sleep with the police officers who are investigating the murder. Her husband's mistress is onto her, and she's plotting her death. Like, it is all over the place, crazy, and I loved every second of it. If you like unhinged women, you're gonna love this. There's a wild, wacky boots twist at the end, and I don't know if I'm 100% sold on it. It was a little bit like suspending my disbelief too much. That's the only reason I didn't give this 5 stars, but regardless, I enjoyed it so much. Unhinged women enjoyers, this one's for for you. And it's time to close out this video with my top 3 books of the month. These are all of my 5-star reads from April, starting out with a romance, and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This book was just so freaking cute. It made me want to cry, and it actually did make me cry. It was so sweet. It had me giddy. It had me kicking my feet. It had me doing my little audiobook walk and just like literally I felt like a Disney princess on my audiobook walk. I was listening to this book with my matcha, just like, the world is beautiful. I love it here. If you need a shot of dopamine, listen to this book. We are following our 2 main characters, one of which is a hot veterinarian who is described to look like Rhysand from Akatar, okay? And he has a woman come into his vet office one day and she's like, you have to help me save this kitten, it's gonna die. And he's like, the problem with this kitten is that it doesn't have an asshole and the surgery would cost over $10,000. So unless you're gonna shell out the $10,000, I can't save this kitten. And this girl turns around and raises the money on social media and she says, ha! So, you vet, you man who did not believe in me, I did it, I saved the kitten. And he comes back around and he's like, damn, I shouldn't have underestimated you. I'm sorry about that. Also, you're so beautiful. Can I make it up to you and take you on a date? Which, like, we love a man who takes accountability and then wants to take you out. So he does just that, and their first date is giving me one of my favorite YA books of all time, which is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Okay, they basically have this long, drawn-out whirlwind of a first date, and it is giving insta love. Okay, their connection is instantaneous, but I loved it because you could feel it. It wasn't just based on attraction, it was based on the way that they complimented each other, the way that they instantly felt comfortable and they had banter, and it was like they were best friends. It was so sweet. The only problem is that she was literally about to move out of the city the next day. So they have to undergo this long distance relationship right off the bat, and they're kind of grappling with it the whole time because they're both so independent. They're like, is this worth it? I don't want to even think about meeting somewhere in the middle for this person because I love my life and I don't want to sacrifice my life. And I love how they were both so fiercely independent on their own, but of course love finds a way, and you see them both grow individually as people and grow towards each other in their relationship, and it just has the best ending. There's no weird miscommunication. The only stuff they have to overcome is the distance. I feel like if you are in a long distance relationship or your partner travels a lot, this is just gonna hit for you and you're gonna love it. You're actually gonna die. You're gonna maybe die in a puddle of tears because it is so sweet. Abby Jimenez just knows how to write really emotional characters with deep development arcs over the course of her stories. I'm obsessed. Next up, we have another favorite and my favorite thriller of the month, which is You Deserve to Know by Aggie Bloom Thompson. This book is so scandalous, so juicy, so drama. It just feels like the most entertaining trash reality TV. There are so many twists. The writing and the way that these characters talk to each other is just like over the top, like Bravo style one-liners in here. And we're just following all these rich people, and people in the little cul-de-sac start dying, okay? And these rich suburban people are looking out their windows, paranoid as fuck. Everybody talks shit about each other. Everybody's sleeping with each other's spouses, and they're like, who did it? Whose secrets did it? Who was the liar who came out of the woodwork and finally killed somebody? Because they're all backstabbing each other. And then the Uno reverse at the end of this book is crazy. I love the twist. I was thoroughly entertained all the way through. This is how we do a rich people drama, suburban paranoia thriller. This is all I want to read all summer long. All thriller authors, please take notes. And my very favorite book of the month, and one of my favorite books of the year, you already know it if you watched my Q1 update and my Mia Ballard taste test. Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. This is the book that I didn't want to be near, okay? It was a little scary. It's honestly a little scary for me to be holding it now because I'm a little, I don't know. Y'all don't understand. I literally told my therapist about this book. I logged on my session and she was like, okay, are you ready to talk about your trauma? And I was like, I promise this is related. Let me tell you about this book. And you know if I'm pushing a crazy fucked up book on my therapist. That's how you know it hit. In this book, we are following Gia, and Gia is down on her luck, okay? She is desperate, so she gets on seeking arrangements, and she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna find a little sugar daddy. It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out. I'll just find a sugar daddy. And the sugar daddy she finds is not your typical, because he wants her to be his pet. His pet? Not his pet. Yeah, his pet. So she's like, okay, I'll get on the ground and say arf, arf, arf. But it goes so much further than that. And she becomes this caged woman. And she got to break out of that cage, girl. And when she does, you're not going to believe it. You are not gonna believe it. The last 50 pages of this book are akin to like what I feel like seeing God would be. This is crazy, okay? It's unhinged women to the max. It is about a woman finding her agency and tapping into her power that was there all along. It is a grueling journey that we go through with her, but the payoff is so good, so cathartic, so insane. All the pieces of commentary, all the gore, all the imagery, the character arc, all of it is exactly what I've been wanting and begging for. I will say, check trigger warnings. This is extreme horror, but this is the extreme horror for the girls that I've been begging for. Okay, if you read my shitty extreme horror recommendations in the past that were actually from a bunch of fucking freaks who I don't stand by at all anymore, and you can handle that, you're definitely gonna be able to handle this. You're fine. Because it actually means something. You know, it's not just gore for nothing. And this is literally what I've been begging for. Begging for. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Yes, Shy Girl. Yes, I will read anything Mia Ballard writes. Love it. And guys, that's that on that. With that, those are all the 14 books that I read throughout the month of April wrapped up for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like because that helps me out a little bit. And also subscribe to my channel if you want to see all my other wrap-ups for all the other months in this year, and also watch my vlogs so you get to know some of my thoughts about the books that I read throughout the month before I post my wrap-up. You can also watch my TBRs so you know what I'm gonna be reading in the month, and if you comment on my TBR before the end of the current month, I might read your comment and I might read that book, and then you can see if I did in the wrap-up. We have little interactions here. We have a little relationship, a little parasocial vibe here, okay? Not in a weird way, but in a, I don't know you, but we're interacting a little type of way. So if you're down with that, and everyone's gonna respect the boundaries that are normal for normal people, hit subscribe, hang out with me some more. Thank you guys again for watching, and of course, don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!